Lee, is this puppet show going to be a comedy or a drama?
Are we doing it? Is this a puppet show?
Yeah.
You won't come until it's actually here. You're here.
I was not far.
You look funny. Are you in the closet?
Yeah.
Why are you in the closet?
It's a good chair. The other chair is full of pillows.
This year has been very strange with COVID.
My last year was a bit of an adventure.
AT double hockey sticks. About sums it up for me.
This last year, well, a lot's happened. I guess the move to Austin wasn't in the last year, but the baby was. I kind of bundle it all together because it was all during the pandemic. So the move, the baby, the opening the restaurant, a little over a year. So it's been kind of hectic.
It's been a slow year.
Mm-hmm. It's been kind of difficult.
And everybody had varying opinions as to the seriousness.
I had to deal with your mother because she gets very nervous, and she was worried about every little thing that was happening.
I panicked about 75,000 different ways, ran to the grocery store when we decided to lock down, and almost hyperventilated while I was in there because I was so freaked out by the whole thing. It was so scary.
I've been really happy a lot of this year. Aside from the uncertainty, that was a tough one to learn about, how to be so unsure about what was going to happen to everybody.
It was challenging. I was challenged this year. What was I? And during quarantine, I was a mommy.
Yeah, I started off thinking it was going to be like a 2-week blip. In fact, I had a bet with somebody that, get back to normal within a few weeks. And that ended up not being correct. It's a good thing that was only a 6-pack of beer.
A janitor.
A lot of highs and a lot of lows. The highs being getting to spend time at home, spend more time with my immediate household. The lows being not getting to spend time with my friends, and the depressions that come and go.
A cook.
We were all stressed out.
Yeah.
We all were hypocritical.
I was a teacher. What else was I?
Since I stopped driving, or I can't drive, I kind of was used to not going out and doing stuff.
Plus, he found out he could order wine, so.
Yes, I was able to order wine just like we ordered groceries. We haven't stepped into a store since April, I would imagine.
Psychologist.
We're doing our best to take it one day at a time and appreciate what we do have and what we can do, and try not to think about the things that we don't have and can't do. And that's as much as most of us can do most of the time anyway.
Yeah, you're here.
I'm the customer support manager for Diagnostic Laboratory of Oklahoma. We're a laboratory that tests blood, urine, stool specimens for all of Oklahoma.
And that includes COVID testing?
That includes COVID testing, from the swabs, PCR testing, to the antigen test of the serum.
So you must have seen an uptick over the last year.
A large uptick over the last year. Yeah, the numbers went so high. We actually had a lot of our staff working 10 and 15-hour overtime. During COVID, it was 6 a.m. till 8, 9, 10, 11 at night. It just depended on what the need was, because results had to get out. State health had to be reported. You had all these things that had to be done.
I work at home. I've been working at home since 2015. So I wasn't going into a job. Of course, the Zooms, which I was using years before. Now that's kind of fashionable. It's pretty rare of me to kind of be ahead of fashion and say, yeah, I've done that. You go, really? Wow, you're fashionable. You're a Zoomer. But I use it for a long time.
We don't have any jobs to worry about. I belong to.
I have a job.
Okay, I keep forgetting he's got a job. This I'm talking.
Push her out of the way. That's right. Speak for yourself.
Okay, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for Richard. I do not have a job.
We did remote for like, what was that, like 5 months? Or I did.
Yeah.
I was one of the only ones that went full remote in my company. My boss is just ridiculously cool.
Work has been completely different. Everything I've done for work has not been my primary job, but a lot of things have changed, including a lot more time because I don't have to commute 30 miles each way every day.
My year of going back to work didn't work out.
Yeah, with work, my wife's acupuncture business was on pause for a while, and then she had to pivot, figuring out ways to serve her clients by doing like outdoor acupuncture.
It was quite a challenge when they first closed things down. We went away for spring break at one or both colleges, I forget, and came back the next week and they said, nope, you're all now virtual learning. Nobody is going to campus. Figure it out. And some people figured it out much better than I did. More of a technical challenge than I was prepared to take on. So
since opening the restaurant too, we've had to be around people, but we, wear masks and just limit where we're going and what we need to do. But obviously there's things we need to do for the restaurant. So it's kind of a balance game for us.
Even now, we went, to a landscape place today, look at rocks.
Nobody was wearing a mask.
Yeah, it was all outside. So, and there.
But still, we were 3 feet away.
Yeah.
And so I told Scott to put his mask on.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, the biggest conflict for me is the fact that I don't do what your mother tells me I should do. Like today I was down there talking with the landscape people and I didn't have my mask on right away. I put it on while I was getting close to the person. So I was reprimanded for that.
So he walks outside to talk to the guy who's working in the yard.
You don't need to make the whole explanation.
Yeah, well, you just put it out there, dudes. Here it goes. If we die here at the end, I'm going to kill him.
So you understand what I'm saying then, right?
And I'm right, aren't I? He should have put it on before he walked out the door, right? Come on, Lee.
Lee can't say yes or no.
Yes, she can.
She can.
We went to mask immediately. We'll continue to be masking. If they let masks go down, we're going to continue with masks.
You were good about making sure we stayed at a distance. And
would you have preferred that we handled things differently?
A little less militant in the beginning.
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
I appreciate your sticking to your guns.
Right.
It's sort of a miracle that we actually did not have it the whole year.
Right.
Because like Scott said, we were hypocritical. Sometimes we would have parties with the neighbors and none of us were social distancing.
I think I worried more about other people's behavior because I knew what I was doing and I could count on that.
Teachers are severely underpaid.
This is the most school that our kids have done with other kids since preschool.
It's great. So yeah, I'm trying to get the seeds of endangered plants that can grow in this area, and so that they don't end up going extinct.
The school with Bryson, he was 8 last year, but going through how school was going to function, you're virtual one day, you're at school the next, and then they decided everybody under 3rd grade was going to be in school. He did good, but I found it difficult just because I'm not a teacher, or I don't feel like I'm a good teacher. So I don't know that he was getting the best he could have. I really appreciate teachers and what they do. I always love his teachers, and I'm always respectful of how much work they put into our kids.
Teachers definitely do not get enough credit. Our youngest has done better in school than he has in the past because all of the social stuff that causes him major problems hasn't been a factor. So he's done incredibly well in school. Our older one has dealt with the depression that the rest of us have, just being lonely and feeling isolated. And they're still doing 100% virtual school.
You know, he did go to stepping stones for a while, which every single day that gave me anxiety. It gave me that, oh gosh. And they were no masks because it's under 5 years old and it's a private school, so they didn't have to do masks. So that freaked us out. But no outbreaks, which was amazing. The teachers had to wear masks, but the students didn't have to.
He only has 4 kids physically in class.
4 desks. So it was like 1 in each corner.
It's the only class that's like that. Like most classes have like
13,
15 kids
yeah,
in them.
13 to 15.
I went on the computer still, but then I was at school instead.
Which do you like more?
At school, because when I'm going to do gym class at the computer, you just have to like do it on the computer. I like more gym class inside the hotel gym because it's a whole gym area.
My oldest child, they'll be 16 next month and totally fine. My 13-year-old son is a lot like me, really spacey and hard to stay focused. And especially at that age, you know, in middle school, it was more of being his personal assistant. So like Dawn and I had to be his personal assistant, making sure, okay, you have a meeting at this time and you have these things due, and, you know, have you checked this? And so the things that, the scholastic things that they didn't learn, I think were balanced to a certain degree by the life skills that were required to navigate the new environment.
When COVID started, we were in Australia, I think. Yeah, when we were leaving Australia, the first news of it came up. So, oh, that's a very good point. We were actually in Uzbekistan when it started.
As soon as places got even a little open, we'd go spend the night at a hotel or a bed and breakfast or something, just one night, and not too far away, but just somewhere different.
We were actually in Florida when the DoD travel ban dropped. So we came home just terrified of what we were traveling through and not really knowing what was going to happen, how long it was going to last. There was literally nobody on the plane. There on like what does a plane hold, like 85 people or something? And there was maybe 12 people on this plane. And all of us had economy seats, and they would not let us spread out.
I was 3 in a row, people in front, people behind, and I looked at the flight attendant, and it was not my finest moment. It happens. And I was like, you're really holding on to this basic economy thing a little too strong right now. We need to be social distancing and this plane is empty. She's like, well, you can spread out among basic economy as soon as we get the plane filled. I was like, there's 13 people on board and 9 of us are right here.
First news of it came up, we were in Australia going to New Zealand, where we should have stayed. But we didn't, and we moved on to Vietnam. And a little bit after traveling through Southeast Asia, we were stuck in Cambodia, which actually isn't that bad of a place to get stuck in if you get to live in Villa Moringa.
And
We have been to Six Flags to get our shot.
Yes, that's it. That was the first time we'd gone north in a year. We actually had to make a plan every couple of weeks to go get in the car and just drive a couple of miles away so that the car wouldn't just die sitting in the garage. But
And after we left there, after 2 months, we decided it was high time to leave and start exploring again. And we decided to go to England, where we were locked down for a month, but we traveled around for a little bit. And then we came to see you guys for 2 months. Epic!
Yeah, the only traveling I did was to Ohio to see my mom. And but yeah, like we had vacation plans that were all canceled, and races that I was going to do that didn't happen.
And now we're here at this world schooling school about saving the world. Wow, that's a bunch of worlds.
A lot of worlds.
Strength. That's actually how we celebrate our negative events. we drank
Well,
a lot.
We like our wine at night
No, we drank a
more than
lot.
yeah.
But a lot of the celebrations were just the four of us.
Well, it was lovely when Holly and Chris were here and we had Thanksgiving dinner out on your porch, and then we had Christmas dinner out on your porch. That was really fun.
But mostly on Zoom.
Yeah.
You know, Zoom happy hours, Zoom birthday beers or whatever. It all just blurs together at this point. So like asking how do we celebrate special occasion, I don't remember.
I don't remember anything.
Because it's all so bland and repetitive and mundane. I mean, I never thought that Groundhog Day movie would be so relevant.
Not much, obviously.
We're very old. We don't really care about
Yeah,
it.
birthdays aren't that important to us.
Mom, I know what you did on your birthday. You went on an art walk in our backyard.
Oh, see?
Oh, we did celebrate that. Yes. Thank you, Lee.
It's like nothing. I did nothing.
I just don't remember. But God, that was so long ago. That's almost a year now.
Very privately, you know, even to the point of Granny not being able to come. So we did our Christmas Eve, normal Christmas Eve, and all the grandbabies came and opened their Christmas Eve. I'm going to cry. All the grandbabies come and open their Christmas Eve boxes. And in their Christmas Eve boxes every year, they get a new set of pajamas, a bag of popcorn, some candy, and a new movie. And so that Christmas Eve, they can lay down and watch their movie in their pajamas and eat their candy and their popcorn.
Went away for our anniversary, one of our hotel nights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
About as big a deal as we usually make out of special occasions.
Yeah, right.
We still met with family. We would still see my parents, immediate family, and his parents, and I guess we didn't change that much in that respect. We thought seeing family in this year was important, so that's what we did.
It was pure survival. And I hadn't thought about that until just now. It was pure survival. I didn't get to knit. I haven't knitted in a year.
You know, for walking, you got the virtual challenge that you do when you walk. Like the first one I did was Mount Fuji, and the second one was Everest, and the third one was the Ring of Kerry, and now I'm doing Camino de Santiago. That I would be walking anyway, but it's kind of a nice little thing to enter that into the computer every few days and see myself making progress toward getting this beautiful medal. And yeah, that's kind of nice.
How many miles do you think you traversed this past year?
A little over 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I bought a weaving loom for my birthday last year. That was a celebration. And I took some online classes and I absolutely taught myself how to weave, which is remarkable that you can do that online and learn how to do things. And I can do it pretty good.
What about your craft on the island?
The island?
Your two islands.
2 islands, Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing. That was probably the best gift I ever got in my entire life because it was so necessary at this time. My Switch, my Nintendo Switch, that enabled me to play Animal Crossing and totally lose myself into another world that did not have COVID in it. And you could talk to people and touch them, and it was nice.
Dad, did you play Animal Crossing?
I was allowed to have a house on one of the islands, but I couldn't really decorate it too much. I fish.
Yeah.
Please don't.
But you know, I actually I hate fishing. In my real life, I don't enjoy fishing at all. But on Animal Crossing, it was actually entertaining. So perhaps I'll take up fishing, but not really.
Your mother, my sister, talked me into playing Animal Crossings. So I went and got a Switch. I had they actually had a bundle, and she texted me and said, "There's a bundle on sale." So I got a bundle, and she FaceTimed me and showed me how to hook it up to my TV. And I was like, well, I felt like I maybe annoyed your mom because I asked a lot of questions because I didn't know what to do. I was just walking around. She was like, "Shake trees." Well, she forgot to forgot to tell me to carry my net. So I got stung. Oh yeah, you got to carry a net. So
You can come to my island one day because I have Mario stuff. I don't really play Animal Crossing a lot because I'm kind of bored of it because Minecraft is so fun.
Had lots of swimming pool practice. They got much better
Yeah.
at swimming. We watched YouTube videos and learned how to do strokes and stuff. We would not have held still long enough to see kittens and puppies born in 2 different countries.
I made something out of stained glass because my sister-in-law taught me how, and it's still there.
I started an adventure racing program for kids that was inspired by my kid or my son and his friends watching the Eco Challenge race on Amazon that I was a part of, and they're like, "Hey, can you put on one for us?" And so I put on an adventure race for them, just sort of fun on a weekend, and I ended up having so much fun, and the kids ended up having so much fun, and the parents were like, "This is amazing." And in addition to that, there's a nonprofit that my friends and I started called the Columbia Gear Closet, where we collect used outdoor gear, camping equipment, bikes, kayaks, that kind of stuff, and we loan those out to low-income people that are underserved in the outdoor population.
Feeding has been probably the celebration of COVID for me. Feeding people and people enjoying the food, and right.
Yeah. Oh, the food has been just great.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, I didn't start any new hobbies really. I mean, I cooked a lot, but I didn't do anything.
You made sourdough.
I did sourdough bread.
That was a weird one, wasn't it?
I
that
did.
People are getting sourdough
yeah,
bread.
the sourdough bread. That didn't last long.
No, because we were trying not to
people
eat
weren't
bread.
eating bread in the house.
We probably have increased the amount of screen time.
Total time
Yeah.
is greater.
Yeah. I think I watch more than she does, and there are 3 or 4 situation comedies that I've gone through. Anything binged?
No.
Nothing memorable, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, our daughter-in-law, Laura, told me we should watch The Challenge. So we watched whatever the season of The Challenge that was on at the time. And she was right. I was so hooked on it. So we went back and probably binged 25 seasons of The Challenge. So yeah, that was kind of a guilty pleasure.
I mean, we watched, what was it? Tiger King. I think everybody had a stint.
Well, of course, what was the lion one? The lion trainer guy.
Oh, the Lion King guy?
No, yeah.
That was way back. Yeah.
I know, but it was the beginning of COVID. Did you see that one, Lee? The tiger? Yeah, the tiger show.
The Tiger King, right. Not the Lion King. That was a different show, right?
That was a cartoon.
I don't know if it's strange or not, but I love anime. And so I watched probably more anime than I would have otherwise.
I don't know. I had like a whole list. Your mom kept giving me stuff, and Bethany was telling me stuff. I watched a lot of movies. I watched a lot of movies with the kids.
So it's Family Feud on Channel 7, Family Feud on Channel C&W, Channel 12, C&W, Country Western.
You of course get the Country Western TV station where you are, right?
We actually don't have TV.
Oh.
Ooh.
We've had furniture, books, clothing, bedding, pictures, food, anything, you name it, we've had it delivered. So no, nothing strange.
Trampoline.
I always feel bad when the Amazon guys come up and they're like delivering
Vitamins.
like a vitamin or like some applesauce or something. Like they had to drive all the way out here just to give us applesauce.
If you count extra Amazon packages, yes. I'm good, but I'll bet it's at least 2 boxes a day coming to the door.
Probably definitely the weirdest thing that we had to try to deliver during the pandemic was getting my mother delivered here. Our concern was that, if we wait and things start opening up and the pandemic's not under control, that it's just going to be a whirlwind of people wanting to travel and people who are not safe. And then the other side of it was, is it safe for her to travel? But at the same time, she had sold her house and was living with her mom.
Just all the random stuff that I bought on Amazon. We had a mysterious bottle of wine that showed up, a type of wine that we never heard of, but it was like really unusual. And it took us months to realize that it was my wife's cousin that lives in Connecticut. He happened to be in the area and dropped off. He didn't tell us he was in town, and he just dropped it off. And months later, he's like, "Hey, so how was that wine?" And so that was very random.
We didn't have any deliveries.
Oh, you can see we're very intimate now.
But yeah, I didn't touch the neighbor. I didn't hug the neighbor
We're not
girls.
touching every. We're not.
I didn't hug the neighbor girls till last week. And
That's not true.
Once I did, because they were begging me to hug them.
And so
they're like 9 years old.
When they beg, that means you're not gonna get
I gave her a hug, but that was it. I mean, most of the time I would just, nope, 6 feet. Come on, guys, 6 feet.
Oh, totally freaks me out.
Not between us.
No, we're great.
We're good.
Yeah, no, it's been good on the house. When my old yoga studio, I'll see pictures and they're like assisting and they're hugging and they're all close to each other. And I'm like crawling out of my skin.
I would love to hug my child. I'm a very touchy person when I'm talking to people. And the fact that I can't just reach out and touch somebody's arm when I'm talking to them, do you do that? I'll probably be a mess when I finally get near people. Either that or I don't want anybody to touch me because I'm just not used to it anymore. But yeah, I miss that for sure.
We really have found a bubble where we can be normal. I'm hugging people again. It took me a while. I couldn't remember how to do it properly and I was all goofy. I
really connected with the dad. We hung out and we talked a lot about the program, and afterwards we shook hands. Sort of an instinctual thing. And I got into the car and realized it had been a year since I shook somebody's hand. And of course I sanitized it and did all the stuff afterwards, but it was such an unusual feeling.
But I've been shaking people's hands. Like someone put their hand out for me to shake and I gave them an elbow. And I probably won't shake anybody's hand for a few years.
You go up and it's like, do you do the elbow thing? Do you go to shake hands, but then you feel awkward and you're kind of trying to feel up. It's really uncomfortable. I definitely would say though, I didn't realize how much it feeds me personally to have physical touch from other people. And I don't mean sexually. You always said no. I just mean that, like, hugging a friend, shaking hands with a friend, like being next to a friend and having that touch, just those little small touches with other humans that kind of helps you to sort out the existential crisis that I'm going through in COVID.
And it was for an external person, an extrovert, that's a really hard thing to do. And you know me, I'm a hugger. So this virus has been really difficult from that aspect, because when somebody walks up near me, I'm like, my arms go out immediately. It's like a muscle reflex. I really think it's just muscles.
All right, so let's stock up on hugs now so that we can spend them slowly through the pandemic.
I wish I'd been more like your mom and dad.
I'm glad we weren't.
Well, I kind of wish we were, because at least then you set this is it. We're not gonna be inconsistent.
We're not like, they're different people with us.
I know.
I think the number one thing that would have made this pandemic more manageable for me personally, like on an emotional level, is having more access to connection.
I don't know that we could do things that much differently.
Yeah.
Personally.
We really probably wouldn't.
I think we probably do things the same. I think
Yeah.
we did pretty good.
Because we stocked up.
I would have had a house.
I'm surprised your mother and I didn't go crazy together. I guess that's one thing.
Kill each other.
Did you kill your wife during quarantine?
Yeah, we did decide we liked each other still, so that was good. It was surprisingly okay. I think I was born to be a hermit. I don't know. It wasn't as bad as I thought. If I had known going into it that it was going to be a year, I think I would have freaked out even more than I did, and I don't know how I would have handled it.
I've learned that I'm very good being alone, very comfortable being. I do reach my limits where I'm like yesterday, it was bizarre. I just was like, I have to leave the house, and I ran to Marshall's just to leave.
And her comfort being alone is not always helpful when I find that my discomfort comes from being alone too much.
I mean, I could say seeing how divisive it was, but I mean, I feel like everything in our country has become kind of polarizing.
I think this is further divided, or maybe it's just more clearly delineated the line between the different perspectives that already existed.
Like, I knew people were selfish, but I didn't know people were this selfish. And
Yeah,
not,
just the even like wearing the mask thing was kind of crazy that people were like
still
thinking that was a big deal, something they wanted to stand their ground on. Like, is it really that much of a pain in the ass to wear a mask?
I would say I've been happier than I would have thought. I thought it was, I was really upset when I didn't even realize for sure in the beginning that it was going to be this long. I didn't believe it could possibly be this long. And then when it turned out to be this long, I thought it would be horrible, but it really hasn't been horrible at all.
I think I was surprised at how poorly our country responded to it.
Well, yeah.
Compared to the rest of the world.
I think the thing that surprised me the most this past year would be the division in the country during a pandemic and how political everybody made it. And I just thought it was very sad. You know, that really surprised me, because you would think in a pandemic time, that's when everybody would actually pull together. And where you did see communities pulling together, it didn't feel like overall everybody was pulling together. It was this weird sense.
Yeah, I hated how political this whole thing became.
Silly.
That was really frustrating. Because regardless of what anybody's political beliefs are, like
500,000 deaths.
Like 500,000 dead people, dead brothers and dead sisters and dead sons and daughters and mothers and grandmas and grandpas, and I don't care what your politics are. Like that's not fake.
Being in denial is kind of soothing in a way, because I want it to go away. I'm just gonna deny it.
I think it's important to not just, I think people that don't believe it's as serious as it is, just read certain reports.
Our media had everything so mediafied. I don't think people knew the information they were getting was probably skewed. And so I think it scared a lot of people when I think our media could have done a better job.
So,
of course, our governor, he thought that when it first came out, he said, well, we're Texas tough, so everything's okay. It's like, so you mean that the virus is going to go to like the Louisiana-Texas border, kind of peek over into Texas and say, oh, we can't
don't
go
mess with them. Don't mess with them.
Oh, we can't go in there.
Well, Texas is a whole other ballgame.
It was weird because I found myself getting lonely, almost depressed.
Maintaining mental health, I guess.
I think it was a good practice in being flexible.
We just had no idea when it would actually be. When people ask when you're going to open, it's like, well, here's what we're hoping for, but no clue in reality. So it was a loose timeline.
We have some pretty bad Wi-Fi.
I'm glad it wasn't COVID-50, because COVID-19 caused me to gain COVID 20 pounds.
I tend to feel people's pain, and it was hard for me to listen and feel their pain like that, and you hear people, their loved ones are in the hospital, and, we are part of the Integris hospital. So we hear the communications, and only one person allowed in, with a loved one, or no one allowed in. So we were hearing the feedback from that. That was a mental challenge.
I took a COVID test and
So
I had no symptoms. So I had a false positive from a hospital. And, for 3 weeks, it completely turned a stressful situation, exponentially worse. It's like, I didn't have to go through this bullshit.
I guess at the end of the day, though, it's better to not have had it at all, right? And have had the stress and inconvenience? Or would you have rather at that point to have been like, but I had it, so boom?
That's a good question.
I rather have had it and boom,
Yeah.
because I was asymptomatic. So I would be one of the, wow, people would look at me and be impressed for once. For generations, you're probably going to have,
less flu,
less contagious episodes of flu and the common cold.
Mm-hmm.
Our landlords have been really accommodating and didn't make us start paying rent until we opened.
We've been very lucky to have you guys so close by.
Yep, definitely.
The fact that we had moved here and we were able to see our beautiful daughter pretty often.
Having you close by has really saved the day for.
It did. It totally made a game changer.
And Zayden's been a blessing. He's amazing. He's such a good kid. And being able to spend more time at home, especially before the restaurant opened, it was great being at home every day, not even having a choice about it. But, that's really all we wanted to do for the first few months anyways. So it was good.
We've done more Zooming with people all over the world that are our friends.
We would not have taken a really long time to explore one place.
I figure if we can get through this, we can get through whatever.
She said at the beginning of this, it's either going to make us or break us. And it definitely made us. It made us stronger together. You just hit me in the...
I feel very fortunate that we came through this year without any major problems, or really.
So far.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Is that there was a ton more time to do things as family. And so Dawn and I spent a lot of time doing things together early on, especially.
Going out, seeing people, socializing.
Want to go out, to be able to go out and eat at places.
Traveling.
Travel.
Yeah.
Getting on airplanes again, leaving Texas, visiting people.
And also traveling, for sure.
Traveling.
I miss traveling.
Would be seeing your sister, my sister, your mom.
I have a sister?
Your sister, yeah, my sister. That is the thing I miss the most, because we do, 2 or 3 trips a year. And that was like life changing. And I found that's where I get to escape from all of this.
I have a trip planned right now for real. I'm going to the Dominican Republic to visit my daughter, Ollie, and my son-in-law, Chris, and my 3 wonderful grandsons. Yes, I'm going in a week.
Yes, we have one booked. One of the New England cruises going from Canada to New York City.
It'd be nice to get back to singing.
Well, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Human interaction,
Yeah.
school.
Kids going back to school.
Yeah.
Racing again. I haven't seen my daughter in 14 months. On the one hand, it's good because now we literally text every single day. And we FaceTime probably 3 or 4 times a week, whereas it used to be we'd FaceTime like once a week. I haven't seen her. I haven't hugged my daughter. That kills me. That's hard. And there's nothing I can do about it. And when she asks me, I don't have a solution to give her.
Yeah, it's great to have FaceTime, but it makes you kind of miss
the
kid even more, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have a question. I have one question.
Okay.
Maybe when the virus is gone, you can come to my house.
Just put a pillow over my head, please.
that's dark.
Listen to the CDC?
Find a big cliff.
To remember the lessons that we learned.
Make a pandemic kit and make sure you have enough masks and be ready to have enough food to last a few weeks.
Get a bunch of beef jerky at the store and then lock yourself in a closet for 14 days.
I think that if we had listened to the scientists and stayed home for 2 weeks, do you imagine how different it would have looked had people actually just stayed home?
I think everybody needs to stop and take a breath and realize that we're all the same.
Look around and see what other countries did right. Say, we could do that too.
Buy stock in Amazon.
Be consistent.
I think that we also should remember to be valuing human interaction when we get it.
I don't want to do this again. No.
I want this to be over.
No, no words of advice. Maybe don't treat it like it's a hoax in the beginning.
Have a good president.
Ask 5 things.
5 things?
Mm-hmm.
What 5 things?
You have to wash your hands after when you're done.
Washing your hands is very importantly.
Eat healthy food. And don't go to places where there's virus.
Ha! I am a COVID monster. I will climb you a ladder.
You need the mask.
Start with the masks and the distancing right away.
Yeah, we should all put our masks on right away.
We should be smart.
Wear your damn
Wear your
mask.
fucking mask.
Be prepared for the worst.
Really marinating in gratitude for where we are, right? And that analogy that we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat.
To try not to judge everybody and to understand.
No, I don't have any advice. It'll just fall on deaf ears, my own included. Nobody will listen.
I think we've shared enough with you at this point, don't you?